Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be building my first 75% keyboard. This is going to be a crazy budget build, as you'll see with the stuff coming up. I'm really excited to get into it. Has a knob, has some cool features, and I'll go over those as the video goes on. So let's get into it. So this here is the NextTime75. It's a 75% keyboard with a knob. My cousin got it on Black Friday, had it shipped out, arrived here a couple days ago. So I'm just getting into it. I'm excited myself, being my first 75%. This is a gasket mounted keyboard. As you can see, the little tabs are on the side. Those end up being gaskets. But they are not the best gaskets. They are quite firm. I have to press down pretty hard to get any type of compression out of them. So I don't think we're going to be getting a lot of flex. I think the main purpose is going to be giving a more consistent sound throughout the board. But it's cool to have, and at this price point, I don't really think it's anything to complain over. So we're just going to take this thing apart, and you'll see the stabilizers do come pre-lubed, so we'll have to do a little bit of cleanup there, but overall I'm excited, I'm happy, so let's just get into it and continue to rip this thing apart. So now with these stabilizers out, I like to use either some tissue paper or toilet paper, paper towel, kind of whatever, to just go around and clean these off. It's usually better to let them rest in some soapy water so the lube can kind of break down, but I didn't have time for that. I just wanted to get this over with. I was too excited and wanted to see this thing come together. So this is the method I'm using. It works well enough. I was lucky that in this case, it was just the wires that had lube. It makes it a lot easier for me. The plastic part of the stabilizer housing actually didn't have any lube. But if yours do and you need to get it out, you can either get a Q-tip or just roll up the end of the paper, shove it in there, and try to get as much lube out as possible. With that step done, we're just going to lube these things. I'm going to take a different approach of lubing this time. As you'll see, I'm going to get the stem pretty much as I normally do, maybe be a little bit more generous with the lube, and that's because the housing, I'm not actually going to go in there with the brush and apply lube. What I plan on doing is getting these stems, putting them in the housing, and then whatever portion sticks up top, I'll slide the brush in between the housing and the stem like you see here and try to apply more lube. And the theory is that overuse, it will apply it more evenly, but it's just something new I wanted to give a shot, and who knows if it'll actually do anything. Now I'll just go ahead and do that with all the stabilizers. You'll just see it cut. I don't want to waste any time, and boom, we're done. With that being finished, I want to go ahead and get these stabilizers back into the plate, and I'm noticing a little wobble on some of these. It's not a lot for most, and it's more than fine for me. However, this particular one at the top right has a little more wobble that I'm looking for. So I'm going to take a little bit of masking tape. Some people use Band-Aid. This is just what I had on hand. And I'm going to go in there and wrap one side to kind of take up a little more space and reduce the wobble that's in there. As you can see, put it on, fold it under. I use the tweezers, but you definitely don't have to. You can use your fingertip, get it in there, and maybe it'll help your stabilizers. You can go and add as many layers as you need, hit multiple sides if you want, if you really want that stiffness. It will make a difference, but for me, this seemed to do the job, so I'm gonna just roll with that and move on to the next part. So So this tool here is a hobby syringe I recently picked up. I filled it with dielectric grease, and I'm going to go in and kind of squeeze some into the little hole where the wire actually rests. I want it to be kind of surrounded, and I find this is going to give me a better coating than I could get on a brush. I've seen other YouTubers do this, other people in the keyboard space, so I wanted to give it a shot myself. It was fairly inexpensive. I got a pack of like 10 of these things with different nozzles for, I think it was like $7. The dielectric grease is another 8, I believe. So you're gonna get multiple uses out of it. It's worth it in my opinion, and I just want to go ahead and check and try to spread that around as much as I can before actually getting the keycaps on. Make sure everything still moves the way I want it to, and then we're gonna hop right into the next mod. And that's just gonna be to place little strips of tape underneath where the stabilizer is gonna rest. I don't know how much of a difference this is gonna make. It's the first time I tried this out, but my thinking is that it's just gonna provide a small little cushion for the stabilizer foot to hit, instead of it being like that hard PCB that maybe with a little bit of lube on top of the masking tape, perhaps it will dampen the sound a little bit. I might be crazy. I've seen some other people do this with this board. I kind of wanted to try some stuff out, throw it out there. My cousin said go for it, be experimental. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. You know, if it works, it'll be awesome. If not, I can't see any way that it'll really harm the board's performance or anything, so why not give it a shot? Up next is everybody's favorite mod. It's the tape mod. This time I'm going with a single layer of tape. My cousin did come over, try out some of the boards, and he didn't really care for the thockiness. I had to throw it in there just to give it some consistency and maybe a little bit of pop. I don't want really deep sounding, so one layer of tape in here, that's all we're gonna use, and I'm pretty happy with the way this ends up turning out in the end. I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble the keyboard, and then it'll be time to move on to the switches, and then after that, keycaps. So let's just go through and get this thing put back together. So these are the switches we're going to be using. Yes, it's just plain old Gateron Browns. I've gone ahead and lubed these. I couldn't get rid of a lot of the scratchiness, but this is budget, you know. They're all in. We're going to slap them in there. Not much to say. Go ahead and put the shroud back on, the top piece of the case, and we're just going to hop over to the keycaps. So these here are puddings with the white top. Once again, not my personal favorite choice, but this just goes to show how much you can customize your keyboard and how much variance there is out there to fit your preferences. So you can be tailor-made to you, and it all really comes down to what it is you're willing to experiment with. You know, the clear keyboard, a lot of RGB. The pudding keycaps, a lot of RGB. Not my favorite thing. I don't like lights blasting me in my face when I'm on the computer or gaming or anything like that. But this is something my cousin really likes. It really fits his theme in his room, works with everything he's got going on in there, and he just thinks it's aesthetically pleasing, which is cool, which is awesome. And at the end of the day, this is something I would not have purchased. That being said, after using it, after seeing it, after testing out different lighting modes, it's something I would be happy to have. So, you know, maybe if you're building a keyboard, thinking about something else you want to do, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and try something that maybe you're not 100% sold on, to see if it gives you a different feeling once it's done. Anyways, we're gonna go on to the sound test. That's it for me. Like and subscribe if you like this keyboard, and I can't wait for you to see what it looks like with everything turned on.